Watch! All right, man. I hope we're not going to have technical issues today, man. I like hit the start go live button, and then all of a sudden I got a little message shut down unexpectedly. I'm like, what? Anyway, what's up, everybody? Hey, Bacon. Hey, Ultra Chubby. What's going on? I see Primeval Fantasy in the house as well, and of course Fox of RPG and Judd. Thank you so much for coming tonight. We're not going to belabor any opening because we have a panel of guests on to make a really super special announcement. One that is well, kind of ambitious, I think, and quite interesting. I don't know, Gary. What are your preliminary thoughts?
No thoughts yet. They're gonna have to tell me exactly what's going on. Hey, real quick, we're gonna get into a lot of stuff, but for some of you that are just popping in, you're gonna pop out in a minute. I did want to say just I'm really proud of myself. Next week, where is it? Next week, DM Scotty, Easy D6. He just sent me an email back, confirmed he'll be here next week. One of my favorite
awesome.
games. It was badass. So anyway, thank you, DM Scotty. And now we got a lot to talk about. You ready?
Yeah, we got our first super chat. $2. Doc Flamingo, your lips don't match. Are you in Japan? That's probably
Is that both of us, or just Matt, or just me?
It's probably just me. It's usually just me. Don't worry about it. I'm speaking Japanese. Is that how the song goes? I don't know.
No,
anyway,
that's not
all right.
How the song goes. Not at all.
All right. Let's. I'm just going to go in order here. We got Matthew Tapp, Barrows Borderlands. What's up, sir?
Howdy. How y'all?
Thanks, Chubby. Hey, Matt. How you doing?
Doing good.
Then we have George and Dave bringing them
Good
in.
evening,
Right?
Hey,
what's
how
up,
you
guys?
doing? Thanks for having us.
Yep.
Thanks for being here.
And then
this is going to be fun.
And, yeah. And last but certainly not least, Griff. What's up? Good to see you, man.
It's good to be back on your show.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm really glad to have all of you here because how this whole thing, this show started was I got a DM from Matthew Tapp saying, hey, I got this thing going on. I'd love to be on the show and talk about it. And the way he mentioned it, it was so matter of fact, like I should have known. So all of a sudden I was like, did I miss something? And I'm like scouring X. I'm going to Facebook. I'm going all over. Like I must have missed something. What is he talking about? But then obviously I learned what your project is, and you'll get into that in just a second here. And I'm going to say this publicly. I already said thank you to him. My week has been crazy with work. That trying to get all this organized. Matt actually has been a big help. We've jokingly saying he's actually producing the show tonight. So, but anyway, Matt, thanks so much for doing this and reaching out to us. We really appreciate it. So why? Well, I'll just turn it off to you. So what's the big announcement?
Yeah. Kind of an interesting Kickstarter thing going on, but I'm gonna actually let George say what it is here. But I will say I specifically reached out to you because I thought about anybody else who would like this whole project, it'd be you. I'll let George take it from there, though.
Thanks, Matt. So this whole project that we have here, this Kickstarter, the Arduin's Portal to Adventure, it's kind of a little bit of a funny story because it just started off with just an inquiry, and it's been a couple months that we connected with Matt for Barrows and Borderlands. We've known Griff for a while. He's been working with us. We've been doing interviews with people for Dave Hargrave and his life, and different players who used to play with Dave Hargrave and Arduin. So that's how we connected with Griff a couple years ago at GaryCon. But Matt, we just recently met in about 2 months, Matt, about 2 months, maybe give or
Yeah,
take.
about that.
About that.
About that.
And just recently, I'd say about a month or so ago, Arduin used to have box sets for the trilogy, and there's some that are on eBay that are available. So Dave and I have always talked about, well, maybe, we do a box set or something like that. And when we found out Matt had been doing the Barrows and Borderlands and he'd been doing the boxes and he had a numerous stock of boxes, Dave asked me and said, why don't you talk to Matt, see if he has some extra boxes, for the trilogy, the box set, the 3-book series. So I said, oh, okay, that's cool. So if we're going to do that, I called Matt. I'm like, Matt, so do you have extra boxes? Yeah, I got some extra. And I said, is it possible we can reprint the original 3? And so we got to talking and we started getting into layout, the PDFs and everything. So I started preliminary, put something together, and I'm like, okay, this is great. Let me take it back to Dave. So I was like, we've got the system to do an Arduin trilogy box set. And he's like, what are you talking about? I said, all I wanted to know was, can we get some empty boxes that we can use? No, we got the trilogy going. So all of a sudden, he's like, you're nuts. And all of a sudden, we're talking about doing a trilogy box set for Arduin. So that was our initial thing that we were starting looking at. And then as it developed, it was like Dave, who came up with this idea, was like, why don't we talk to Matt and Griff, and why don't we do something that we combine the Arduin trilogy with the Lost Dungeons of Tonnisborg and Matt's Barrows and Borderlands. So I was like, okay, that's a great idea. So when we started talking with Matt and Griff, and they were on board with us, and then all of a sudden it evolved into, okay, if we're going to do something big, what should we do? And then Dave again said, because we were talking about pre-orders, advertising on Face and Xbook, not doing a Kickstarter. And Dave's like, why don't we do a Kickstarter? That'll solve our pre-order issue, and we'll be able to do it. And all of a sudden it evolved into a Kickstarter, and the process with all 3 companies now that we're working together, we're all producing something, and it's a combined group. We went ahead and went crazy and got a custom box made to fit all the material in, and it just kept growing and growing until this huge bundle of old school gaming material. And boom, before you knew it, we're like, well, we want to launch this off quickly. We want to get it going so people can have something for Christmas. And all of a sudden the Kickstarter came to be. But it was just funny because all it was supposed to be was an inquiry about empty boxes. And now we've come to the point where we have this amazing, huge amount of old school greatness in a bundle on a Kickstarter. That's going to be happening. We just pre-launched now, but the pre-launch is not going to last very long. I can state this, I think, for the group. October 1st is when it's going to go live. So a week from this coming up Wednesday. So it's going to be
heard it here first, folks. October 1st. It's going live. Second watch. We broke the news.
It's funny because
yes, we did. And I just wanted to say, I put the link to the pre-launch page in the chat. I'll do it periodically throughout.
It's funny because we've
and
all
of
been
course
talking, the 3 groups, we've all been talking for a while, and I started a little Facebook group that was like a private group it was the small publishers group, and the idea was to get more people in there and sort of start a community where we talk about how to help each other market and stuff. Like if you got something coming out, get some, I'll post it here, post your thing here, and the rest of us will grab it and put it on all our socials, right? So we just kind of help each other just get the word out about our products. Nothing too hard there. And so, I mean, it's kind of, and the only people that actually were active in there were Matt and M. Joe here. George and Dave. So it's sort of funny. We just kind of spiraled into this, but I think we've all been really active in helping other people get the word out about what they do and stuff, and keeping the classic RPG play style going.
Yeah, I think your group is what kind of spun this into something about a collaborative.
It was a piece of it. It wasn't, it was
it definitely was in the back of my mind when I suggested
it. Was like, how can we collaborate and work together and help each other and promote the genre? So it's like, people buy sort of a basic classic RPG starter set, and then they're like, well, I got to see what else is out there,
Yeah,
And
I'm
in
just
classic,
highlighting. Oh, go ahead.
well,
Judd.
I was just going to say that
Such a
in
great
classic
dungeon
game
master.
of game style, I had to mix it all together and create a compatibility guide of how to play this thing at once. So
You've answered my
Yeah.
first question. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I highlighted Judd's comment. I mentioned this before we went on stream. Like, I started this channel because I saw how awesome and amazing the indie scene is. Nothing against people who like 5th edition and whatnot, but there's just something very different versus like the big corporations versus what's happening in the small publishers, and even the solo guys who are just like myself, who are just kind of throwing stuff up and wherever they can. And so I think that's great that this sort of thing came out through that sort of like just talking on a Facebook group. I think that's great. We got a super chat real quick from none other than the Disco Barbarian. $10, sir. Thank you so much. Yar dog brothers and sword sisters, running a little behind making tonight's adult beverage. Very nice. Hope it involves bourbon. Variations on a Moscow Mule. All right, never mind. Vodka, mint, and watermelon soda. I'm calling it the Dixieland Donkey. I like that. I like that a lot, sir. Thank you so much for the super chat.
Hello, Dying Breed Tabletop. Thanks for being here, man.
Oh, hey, what's up, Dying Breed? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, I mean, my first.
So anyway,
what's up?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, my first thought on it whenever we were talking about it was my table, which, so I had to make a compatibility guide for myself. And then when I brought it up to George, he was like, well, let's put the compatibility guide in the radioactive boogaloo so everybody can do it. And so that was sort of the big click in my head to play everything and anything. But they all helped me put it, put it together. And the amount of content there is insane. But between
it was no,
Yeah,
no. I was
ahead,
just going to say, to go off of Matt's point, it's amazing because Matt was able to take it in between all the different things between Arduin, B&B, which I think people should realize B&B is really based off of old D&D, OED, if you want to call it, and Chainmail. And then you have Griff there with his Lost Dungeons of Tonnisborg, which has a system in itself too, an old school system. So Matt was able to take it and be able to adjust it to do what we call a combined game, where it's a portal to adventure, where you can mix and match whatever you want. He gives suggestions on use this portion from Arduin, use this from B&B, use this from the Tonnisborg, or mix it how you want, and it's completely compatible to each other. And of course, being all old school material, you can, Swords and Wizardries, Labyrinth Lord, any type of old school game, you can easily port in and out any of the material, which just the bullet points we have on the pre-launch of the Kickstarter, it's over 800 pages of material that you're getting in this mammoth bundle. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I was just going to say, Matt kind of gave me the brief rundown of what this was. My immediate thought was, of course, Matt's involved in this project because of like everything that's going on. Because when he was on the first time, and we were like not just talking about Barrows and Borderlands, we really, we like talking about game mastery and that sort of thing. And so we wanted to get to know him as a game master, and he just started like, oh yeah, and we'll just like do this, and I'll bring in a board game to function as like a super special lock, and I'm like, it's genius. That's so amazing. Like, so of course he's involved, and I love the title Portal to Adventure, because that really is what how you're going to connect all these things. We got another super chat from Ultra. Let me get to that real quick so I don't forget. $20. Thank you so much, sir. I just have one question. How do horses work? Are there various sizes of horse? How much is each horse able to carry, including its rider? Does speed change depending on how much the horse carries? Matt made me do this.
Matt,
yeah. So I'll let you know that this game will in fact have the best horse rules that you can have. Don't worry. So that was plays in our campaign group now, and we had a week-long discussion about horse movement in the game. And so back in and write all new material just for the horses. And then at the end of the section, it just says ultra approved.
But you have like the
Hey,
random
speaking of
horse
which,
generation chart where you have like the 6-legged or the 7-legged horse. Like
Oh, you
mine's
you
got
just wait
like
on that one.
purple
That's a whole
fur
other
and-
thing.
Yeah,
Matt, real
it's
quick.
really awkward riding the 7-legged horse, but
I
but
wanted to
it's
say
really fast.
thank you for inviting me to that game last week. I really I wish I would have left the river about 2 hours earlier so I could have joined in. I will pay attention to the site. I would love to get in there, but I was covered in mud and river grossness. The kids took up fishing, but thanks for the invite. I appreciate it.
Oh no, I'm
real
notorious
quick.
for last minute game invites. So
Yeah, no, that was great. Thank you. It made me feel good just to get the invite. You know what I mean? Can we get a quick rundown? I know we've got the link, but would somebody just give what is all in the Kickstarter? We're talking about everything. I've seen a list. Let's hear it.
I'm going to share the screen so people
Yeah,
can see
you want to
it,
do
but
that,
by
and
all
then I
means,
can
start talking.
give kind of a rundown of everything, or the picture, if you have that, just the link. Yeah, just to show it there.
Yeah, it's just too mammoth to me for me to put it in the text.
Yeah, it's when you look at that, that's a layout of most of what's in there. What you're looking at is, if I'm going from left to right, starting on the top, you're talking about the Arduin Trilogy box set, which, even though it's called a trilogy, there's going to be 5 books in there. There's going to be character sheets. There's going to be dice. There's also a monster and item card, which is not shown here, that comes in there. So you have a full box set. And then right next to it is its brother game, Barrows and Borderlands, which again is going to come with 6 volumes in it. So it's a limited edition, just like the Arduin Trilogy box set. There's more in it than the normal B&D box set. And again, you're going to get character sheets. You're going to get dice in there. And then moving over, if you see in the upper right corner, is the Portal to Adventure custom box. Everything you see on that screen there will fit into this beautiful custom box that it'll go into. And moving down a little, you have 2 maps, which are parchment large-scale maps of the continent of Kaora, which is in the world of Arduin, the world of Kaz. And below that, you have 4 art prints that we had for Arduin, which include 2 David Hargrave items. One was the original concept art from the first Arduin campaign, and the Howling Tower. So you have an additional dungeon on one of those prints, and the other 2 prints are from Roland Brown covers from AG4, the front and back. We also have a double deck of Swords and Dragons, which is 2 decks, 108 cards, which can be used like a deck of many things, or for numerous games. That in Arduin, we do the same thing, the game of gaming, where you have a game within the game. And then if you move to the left there on the bottom, you see the Lost Dungeons of Tonnisborg, which gives you RPG history, how to game. It's an official Blackmore setting, and it's a 10-level mega dungeon. And it's also an old school system that he has in the game. And then if you move to the left, those sheets, 8.5 by 11, are what we're calling, they are the combined Portal to Adventure combined character sheets. Those are the sheets you can use when you want to combine the game, all 3, Arduin, B&B, and then Tonnisborg, and use it to game any way you wish. And in addition to all this, and again, this is a bundle that's available in there, there's 9 PDFs that come along with this, which are some of the volumes of the books, but there's some extras beyond this that those PDFs have. So it's quite extensive of a material that you have in the Kickstarter. And we've got some couple extra things, some stretch goals and some different things that we have ready to go that I think people will enjoy.
yeah, that's
Well,
that's the other part about this, is that because when we were first talking about doing it, we kind of didn't want like Kickstarter stuff because of how, you know, Kickstarters usually wind up going. But it's not like we're waiting on things to be written. So I'm already printing stuff right now. So
yeah, good point.
Yeah, I was gonna kind of mention that and or ask, like, there's not much that needs to be done, because I saw center of that spread the adventure that I know you've been working on. It's probably almost done. Was it Dracula in Space, which I love. I love that. I'm kind of a weird horror guy, weird fantasy gaming horror guy. That's like right up my alley. So but like a lot of this stuff is already done, so this is not really to me it sounds like it's low risk. You just need to get the funds to get all this other stuff together.
We
mainly just needed how many.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say we really just want to know how many needed to be made.
Yeah, and it's a philosophy that we had. We only have done one other Kickstarter a year ago for our maps, our Arduin maps. And we believe in a philosophy that you don't wait a year. We believe in having everything ready to go by the time you get to the Kickstarter. You already have the material, you're already producing, and we're ready to go with things so that you're not waiting. Our objective, even though on the Kickstarter we have to give ourselves a little bit of leeway for a little bit of time after, but our objective is as soon as we're done, we have everything ready to go. We're packing and we're shipping and getting it to everybody quickly. I guarantee, barring some X factor, you're not going to be waiting 6 months or a year for this Kickstarter, not even close to that. The time frame is a lot less. We're hoping on the Kickstarter itself, we put February of 2026. And again, I just don't want to make any major promise. We feel we can fill and ship a lot sooner than that.
Oh, that's awesome. I know there's a lot of discussion amongst indie creators, especially when you're like, if you're a solo guy like myself, do you do a Kickstarter or do you just get it done, get it published, and then do the rounds, right, to the various live streams to like shill your product? Because either way, you're doing that. You're either shilling the Kickstarter or you're shilling the product that's complete. And there's I don't know if there's like one way to do it, but I can tell you, I have been burned a couple of times on Kickstarter. Not a lot. I know it can happen a lot. I've been lucky, I guess. But so I just think what you just said, I makes me feel like that's a good thing.
I'll say this, you know, and I'm very confident with saying this. With all the people involved here, from Dave to Griff to Matt, I guarantee you support our Kickstarter, you will get everything we promise, period. And I guarantee that. Again,
you forgot to mention Chris behind the camera, but go on.
Oh, Chris, I'm sorry. And Chris. But no,
he's the camera shy.
Yeah. We guarantee it, Matt and Gary, that we will deliver, period. We're very, very strong about that. We have very strong feelings. We're the type of people that still believe in a handshake means something. Your word means something. So no, this is not something, unfortunately, that you have out there where people take people's money and years go by and they never deliver, or they deliver a portion of what they're supposed to. We don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. As a matter of fact, we want to do the opposite, where we don't promise it, but we over-deliver everything on a timely manner. So guaranteed, people back this, you will be getting everything we're promised, that is promised in your reward or as an add-on, 100%.
I think that's the thing, is like a lot of people have experienced these Kickstarters where it's like all this stuff is promised and it looks amazing, you know, but then when it comes time to fulfillment is really freaking hard. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of wary when I see something that has too many things, but I know, like, I've been talking to these guys and they're like, yeah, we got the boxes ordered, they're coming, we got this done, these books and boxes are being made, this thing over here, we got these, we got that. You know, it's all kind of like on a 2-week delivery timeline if it's not in-house right now. We definitely don't want to do you know, it's like there are those Kickstarters where they promised an amazing game system, but they hadn't even designed it yet. And there's a couple of them out there that I just watch, and it's like, wow, you guys got like $500,000 and people gave you money for vaporware, and now people are angry that they don't have it. And it's like, well, gee, what's the deal? Like, we do the same thing. It's like, if we don't have a draft ready, at least something ready to be laid out, it's not going to happen as a Kickstarter, you know?
Correct.
Yeah. No,
So yeah, this
great.
is definitely, I mean, if I thought it was BS, I wouldn't be on board with the project, because I don't want to look like a moron, basically. And which, I mean, I don't mean to sound harsh, but it's like, you guys are doing it right. You have everything lined up, you know, they're kind of handling the main part of it. So
yeah. Well, it's credibility too, Griff, like what you're saying. And it's our credibility, you know, it's our reputation out there. And again, this is a combination with Griff and Matt.
Block 17M.
You know,
sorry, I'm looking at the chat.
So like I said, we're very strong, Matt and Gary, about this, that we will deliver, and we already have things in works, and we're adjusting to everything we have to do. And if we didn't feel comfortable about it, we wouldn't be out here saying, okay, we're good to go, we guarantee. There's nothing right now that's, like I said, other than some weird X variable that hits us, you know, for some reason Buffalo has a tornado, you know, that tears things up, you know, something other than that, we're fine. You know, we feel very confident. So, yeah.
Well, very cool. Well, let's get into some details. So I'll start with Matt, because it's sort of like what I'm seeing around the. I was boasting the last time you were on. I have like the first printing of your game, and now I have a copy of the second printing. Sorry, Gary.
Yeah, Gary thinks I keep his back. It's the anticipation. Well, the anticipation.
I'm a 51-year-old man who, like, for the past 6 weeks has been waiting by his mailbox like it's Christmas morning. You know, like,
it keeps bouncing back to me. You must be.
You know what? No, you know what I think. I'll tell you later. You don't want to hear about my mail. I'll tell you later.
I just wanted to throw something in here too, because, you know, like the whole OSR thing, like we're kind of a niche. Okay, everybody who games in, I hate to call it OSR, I'm starting to call it classic RPG play. It's like the play style is different from the new games. You know, we're all about exploring, and it's not about my character and stuff like that. And the one thing I always want to emphasize is, like, the developers you like, or even if you are one, we're all relying on grassroots support. And so, like, you know, if you're on here and you're excited about this, when you get a link to the Kickstarter, share it, talk to people, you know, like, let people know when the Kickstarter is running, like, this is kind of cool. We need to support these guys because they might come back with something else that's cool that we can't even imagine what it is, you know. And so yeah, just make sure to do that grassroots support. I mean, it's so simple. It's just like, you know, on your social media, it's like, share the post, make a comment. Yeah. These guys rock, and get the word out, and help the project, because really this project is about just promoting the play style more than anything. I could sell the books myself, you know, and make more money. And I came in on the project because I was like, well, I want to support the idea of people being able to buy this package and being able to sort of, I don't know, it's sort of like a basic D&D set for the play style itself. So you've got all these different things, right? And I think it's going to be sort of, for a lot of people who are going to see it maybe on Kickstarter, or they're going to see it on social media, they don't know anything. They're coming from newer systems, whatever. They're looking for something new. It's going to be their gateway drug to everything else that's OSR. And so, yeah, just get the word out. It's you know, we're relying on our fans to help us promote these things. Definitely.
Well, I will definitely certainly do whatever I can.
I'm talking to the people. I can see the chat.
So tag me in tweets.
I keep laughing when somebody's talking about something serious, because I look at the chat and there's a little bit of douchebaggery going on in there over something, and I just start laughing. But anyway, go on, everybody else.
No, it's well, like I said, like what Griff was saying. You know, it's funny. You should say that, Griff, that it's a gateway drug, but It really is a portal to open up to get into things. Oh, there you go.
Hey, Dying Breed.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
There you go.
We're measuring our book collections, apparently. Anyway.
So, Matt, I have a question for Mr. Tapp. Your game of games, this project, when you were here last time, you were telling us about your game, and this is really kind of perfect for you doing these other systems together. You said you wrote a compatibility guide?
Yeah.
And how long did that take you? How big are the differences? Is it going to be fun to use it? Like, just tell me what's going on here. Explain a little bit more.
Well, here's pretty much right off the gate, because it is classic gaming. Most of it's already fairly. Compatibility guide is that's it. I mean, that's it right there. It's got and those all the races and classes. So, and it's
and that being that small, that's really
it
says something how compatible it is.
Yeah, and you can already see on the Radioactive Boogaloo, which can already be downloaded off the site, and the first few pages of it have the compatibility guide already in there. But yeah, I mean, it's as simple as, I think we changed this match B&B saving throw system, and then otherwise it was just saying, hey, this is how you handle something like armor class, because they have different terms, but they're the same terms really. And then okay, well, how do you get your characters from this world to that world? Because that was the part that I was going to make anyway, because if George and David never hit me up,
right,
I would have found Arduin, and then I would have incorporated it into the campaign. So it's all backwards.
It's all backwards. I thought it was going to be forward. How can I flip myself?
It's like red rum.
You got to mirror your
for
straight.
Oh, okay. It's a Disco Barbarian. You're now on notice, and you will soon be blocked.
But our world are different worlds, so we can pick up different systems at any time. And so this way, you can kind of just take the same characters between these three adventures. You could throw them all, mash them up into your own world or whatever. Or, I mean, you could really have, using all the hex locations from Barrows and the 10 levels of dungeon that Tonnisborg has. I mean, one of the earliest world guides for the game, like the trilogy has enough in there to really get started in the world. And in addition to Tonnisborg, there's going to be basically 3 for the whole thing, because Dracula in Space, the sample dungeon for Radioactive, the Rancid Maw for Arduin. So, I mean, all I'm saying is that's what I'm going to be playing for a little while, and some of the other cool stuff that I've been picking up. So,
well, I don't know about that.
Am I now mirrored so I can talk to Disco Barbarian? Sorry, I'm interrupting a serious show here. This is serious stuff. We're talking about D&D stuff.
And like Matt said, just so you know, Gary, with the compatibility guy, it was not too bad, but it was amazing the amount that mixed in. Like, if you see our bullet points on the pre-launch to the Kickstarter, how it's like 35 plus classes, the races 60 plus, and it was the mixing, because Arduin, Dave Hargrave had so many things where he gave you stats, on dragons, on all types of creatures, all types of races, and it fit in perfect with what Matt did. I mean, Matt's Barrows and Borderlands, I always have to laugh, because once we connected and he got to know Arduin, Barrows and Borderlands is like just a different version of Arduin. It
Arduin 2.0.
Yeah, it's like an Arduin 2.0. And because Matt had zero concept or idea about Arduin, then he heard it. And then once he started getting all the material, we sent him a full package with everything. He just started eating it up and was like, oh my God, this and that. So it was very, very easily to be compatible. And then with the Tonnisborg dungeon being an old style, game, it was a easy fit too. So it truly, with the compatibility, we all use the same stats, the same basic stats, the armor class, It's just a matter, do you want to go ascending or descending? A lot of it is very, very compatible, and it wasn't as difficult as we thought. And we just made decisions where Matt would look at things like he brought up the saving throws and said, okay, we'll use this from B&B, as a standard. But you can do it the way you want. When you have the material, you can mark off and say, okay, I want to use this rule or I want to do that. I think there's Matt, 5 compatible magic systems in there. I think it was 5 different ones.
But I did want to bring up something real quick because I just saw the comment you brought up there. Jacob and I just reconnected today. We hadn't spoken in a few years. And Jacob, you don't know this, but Arduin had a Mobius too. He'll get what that means, but it's a Mobius too, which was the coolest. He's gonna freak out over that later. But yeah, I mean, it wound up being kind of uncanny when I was reading through, and I was wondering why these guys are being so nice to me. They think I stole all their stuff. Like I'm flipping through there. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, I think like a couple of our deities have the same name or something, and it was just really uncanny stuff like that. But no, it worked out being a pretty good fit. And then we just play a bunch, like y'all saw with the game I invited you to, with the sort of Stein style game and stuff like that. And then, which is really the fun bit. So, like I said, I was probably gonna wind up doing this anyway so that we could play it at my table, but they had the good, maybe it would be something that other people would like.
Yeah. So
Arduin is kind of interesting though. Like, I think that if you're somebody who isn't in part of the, wasn't there in the beginning, it's a kind of an obscure thing. And I think that people need to understand that Arduin was sort of it was like an alternate set of supplements for Dungeons and Dragons. And that's kind of a thing that if you buy contemporary, once AD&D came out, D&D kind of went on to a 3-book format where you've got your player's handbook, your monster manual, and your DMG. That's kind of like the standard setup. And maybe they also do supplements with character classes. But Arduin was it took the original D&D and just expanded, it exploded it into weird sci-fi, and it didn't stick to just the standard stuff. You've got the technos and the freints and all these really interesting things that sort of blended, almost kind of like an Empire of the Petal Throne thing in there, a little bit of maybe Gamma World type stuff. But it was really early on in 1977. So Hargraves is kind of amazing because he didn't stick to what was, the kind of party line from TSR. We're going to do medieval fantasy. He just took his basic set and just went off into outer space and started publishing these things that were these weird supplements. And I first saw it in 77. I'm pretty sure there'll be an argument between Bob Bledsaw and others and maybe you guys about who created the first critical hit table. But the first time I saw a critical hit table was in Arduin. And I remember we were all looking at it and oh my God, this is crazy. Because we hadn't, we're teenagers. We hadn't thought to have that. The minute we saw it, we were like, oh my God, we got to make our own critical hits table. But it kind of came from Arduin. And so if you look at Arduin from sort of even if you're not going to play it, just from a historical perspective of what's it like to go back to 1977 and see what some genius guy was doing in his own campaign. And you just, there's a million ideas in there that you can just steal. And so I think Arduin is kind of the ultimate just resource book set where you just get in there and you're reading about weird stuff and you're like, well, maybe I can fit this into my own campaign, right? And so it's worth having it for that. Even if you're not playing a classic D&D system, the ideas in there are just freaking brilliant. I'm excited because I have a set finally, and I hadn't seen a set since I literally hadn't seen a set since maybe the 79 or something like that. And just reading through it, I'm just like, oh my God, I forgot about this. This is crazy, And so if you're into that, the whole classic gaming thing, I think that Arduin is really up there with all the essentials like Empire of the Petal Throne and other things like that, maybe RuneQuest. Others of the early sort of six attribute D20 based systems. You just got to get a copy of Arduin and look through it, because it's mind boggling, I think. Sorry, doing my little pitch there, but
Like,
No, go. I think it's a perfect
it's good.
combination because
yeah,
Barrows and Borderlands is it feel. I mean, it definitely it's like it's that whole old school thing, you know, and you feel it, but at the same time, and I think it's your setting, Matt. There's sort of this newness and freshness to it, you know.
Yes, absolutely.
It's got. I haven't been excited about an OSR game, or what we call an OSR game, and you know, I haven't been excited about a new one for a while. And reading yours, it's just that, and then when you put that together with this sort of classic, you know, historical like honestly, I've never seen it. I've heard the name, and I was like, what is that? And then I've just never seen it. So I think it's perfect for those things to go together. And the way you run your game, it's perfect if you guys go back and forth. So sounds great to me. It just sounds perfect.
it's gonna. I mean, it like my players were totally sold on the idea when I was like, hey, you can play as our Corsair Techno and in the Borderlands. Oh, and then we're gonna go 10 levels deep in one of the oldest mega dungeons ever written. Okay,
Yeah.
sign up. So
yeah. That's what I like about the older games too, is that when I run Tonnisborg for people, for instance, just the nature of the way the system is, because it's scaled, it's kind of minimal on how it's scaled. You know, like you go up in levels, you hit better, whatever. The armor classes aren't ridiculous at that point in playing, and so you can take a group of like first level characters. I mean, my players, I've seen players do it in conventions. My player group does it. Tonnisborg is so up, it's so up and down that players find stairwells really easily, and they'll be like, we'll take the stairwell. And I'm like, okay, you go down about 50 feet. It's hard to tell how deep you're going. It feels like you're going really deep. And they're like, okay. And then they're on the 4th level. And it's like a big troop of like 12 first level PCs. And they'll run into critters. They're going to get half slaughtered fighting them, or if they don't just run away. But they do have a chance of like winning a battle. Whoever's still alive hauls the treasure out. And it's like, wow, that was pretty amazing, you know? And so, yeah, I think it's interesting to think of the idea of using like black powder weapons and stuff, especially if the orcs down in the dungeon have them too. You know, maybe like a firefight down the hall and peering around corners. It reminds me of, well, you probably wouldn't be familiar with this, but there was an old game for Traveler called Snapshot. Anybody remember Snapshot?
No,
I think
sir.
you're dating yourself there.
Yeah.
Snapshot was like the Traveler, Traveler melee combat system where you had maps of ships, and you could just play it as a war game. And so you'd be running around on a ship having like a firefight, and you just had a big map out on the table, and you'd be running around shooting, you know, shooting at each other down the hallways and peering out and stuff. And so the idea of doing that with,
I think you just picked my.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
I had a hunch
like,
that if I mentioned it, you'd be like, oh.
Yeah, Matt's going to incorporate it into his next campaign. Okay,
Yeah.
guys.
It's on the table now.
Yeah. Yeah, Snapshot's cover. I'm reading that. Judd's commenting on the cover. It was amazing. If you're watching, Google the cover. It's pretty cool. That whole era of the Traveler stuff, they did that sort of monochrome thing, and it was really neat.
That's cool.
Who's the kitty?
Oh, this is Slash, and it's just it's Slash's turn. I try to fight it, but it just goes on all night. So I'm gonna give you.
It's okay. So, that's a 7th participant.
I was gonna say, typically you just see a little paw come out the side of the screen. It's like,
yeah.
He's aggressive tonight.
I just let mine out, so I'm safe.
My 3 are in another building from me right now, so got another new one. So,
wow.
Yeah,
I get these phone calls from my wife on the way home. That's all like, there is a kitty alone in the street, and it's like, no.
Just crawled inside our car when we left. It was like, yeah, you're taking me home. So I don't know what.
God.
what you think. But
Yeah, it's your cat
I
now.
also wanted to mention, because
you.
I know that Fox is, yeah, exactly. It picked me. It crawled into the undercarriage of the car though, and we were going down the road and we're like, what, meowing? So yeah, that we're on our way to a ghost concert. So there you go. But I wanted to mention there, and I know this part's gonna make him all happy, but so you know how Radioactive Boogaloo, there's some solo rules in there that let you play pretty much any game. I mean, they're solo rules. Arduin, when I was going through getting the compatibility guide, it's got like 6 or 7 solo DM there that cover stuff that I never see solo games cover, like political intrigue and then like a bunch of random event tables, which was really cool, especially for the 70s to see stuff like that.
Can I do some self promo here?
Just a little tidbit that Fox would like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go for it.
Because I realize that I've got at least 2 people that are coming to Arnicon here. I know Matt's going to be there for sure, and Matt. Well, the Matts are going to be there, both of them.
We'll be streaming
I wish I
the
could get
second
George
watch.
and Dave to come because they have no idea what they're going to miss. It's going to be freaking amazing. It's a tiny convention, but it's just like the most amazing convention. And we had Rob Kuntz there last year. We've got Alexander Macris there. A lot of other great guests. Sandy Peterson, Call of Cthulhu. It's going to be a blast. And per usual, David Wesley running his Brownstein games, and which we always, other conventions, they put his big Brownstein on Saturday, but I always feel like it's better to like have it on Sunday so that people, they're kind of like, I don't know what to play, and there's this thing in the afternoon, and it's like, no, you can't miss that. And so like people just pile into the Brownstein. Last time we had people running up and down the hallways, and there was like a political movement afoot, and they were chanting "Save Student A, Save Student A," and marching up and down the hallways. And I don't know if you know Ronan Wong. He was the actor that he played a part in The Man in the High Castle, actually, and he's a huge gamer. And so we try to bring him in. We helped him come into the convention. So he was there last year, and he played. I think he was the banker, and so he's going to be there again. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to, if you want to know more about the convention, tfott.com, and there'll be like a header for Arnicon 3. Go check it out. There really aren't, I don't know. It's sort of a high caliber convention as far as who the guests are, but it's kind of intimate and fun that way. So, okay.
And there will be 2 Barrows and Borderlands tables.
There will be 2 Barrows and Borderlands tables.
I have the links to all 3 of the guests here in the chat, along with the link to the Kickstarter landing page there. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Arnicon, and I figured out I can stream from my tablet, which I was surprised by because my tablet's actually kind of old. So that Friday night I will be streaming probably from my room, but oh wow, but yeah, or if I can find a spot,
you should stream from somewhere in the convention. We'll help you find a spot or something.
I didn't want to impose, but yeah, if you were willing to help
that's
me
not
out,
an imposition. That's we collaborate. It's like we can find you a spot and help you stream your show.
Yeah, and you could maybe even talk to someone, whoever wants to jump in. That's what I did at VentureCon this last time. I just sat there and people came up and I'm like, hey, you want to talk with us for a little bit about VentureCon? And Venture chatted with us for a little bit. So
I'm running one of the traditions there now is for me to run a Sunday morning game because people
in that one
they don't get completely obliterated Saturday night, but there's a certain pastiness Sunday morning because you've already got 2 days of gaming in you and you're just kind of bleary eyed and Sunday morning rolls around and you're like this. And so I run a thing called Mochas and Dragons, which is like just go grab, like you can even grab your breakfast from the restaurant there and haul it into the room to play. And I always just run the dungeon that's in the Holmes D&D book, the blue cover book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I run huge parties. I just have to on the spur of the moment, I have to double the monsters and stuff, and then I add little things so it's not quite Holmes Blue Book, but it's close. And I've got it's booked out this time, but people always seem to they load up on games at conventions and then they just don't show up. And so you end up like, I'll have games, even at GaryCon, I'll have 12 people signed up and only 8 people show up sometimes, you know? And so I'm always like, yeah, just walk up if there's space. I mean, as long as nobody else minds, you know, load them in. And but we have a lot of fun on Sunday morning. It's just kind of ridiculous, basic D&D fun, you know. It's like
sorry. I was gonna say when Matt streams from Arnicon, really what that means is that I'll be right here, and it's just gonna be me. Like, man, I'm so glad you're having fun, Matt. Awesome. Tell me more. Yeah. I promise I'll try next year. I really want to go.
3
I just
copies
can't.
of original D&D. We made best buddies with all the original gamers.
Right.
You know, we'll make sure to say all.
Led Zeppelin reunited, and
there's another one that's coming. Judd's coming.
That's right.
Like, I mean, that's the thing is like it's sort of this like it's sort of going to your like a family reunion. It's like all your internet friends that are weirdo OSR types that play stupid old games mixed with stupid new stuff and have a lot of fun. Everybody just piles in and we just go for it for 2.5 days.
What are the
Okay, Gary,
dates?
we can.
No,
I can get my
again?
players, and we'll put to you and have a Yukon.
Well, here's the thing. That would be great. I'm going to hold you to it. Yeah, it's going to happen. What are the dates for Arnicon again?
It's going to be October. What is it? 10th through 12th. I'd have to look at the thing. I always get the dates wrong because
it's 10th through 12th.
Yeah,
10 through 12.
Yeah,
in the Twin Cities. Like if you know anybody that lives in the Twin Cities, just be like, dude, if you don't go to Arnicon, you're a moron.
That's the
you know.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a Homer hanky you can give away to somebody from 19.
That's actually the last couple weeks of
9.
Yay, Stephanie in the chat. Jumping into games is the way to do it. That I love people like that. It's like because I'm always looking in the hallways. One year at GaryCon, Ross Maker was running Strategos. Nobody'd signed up. And this is a funny story. I was walking around the hallways trying to get people to come play Strategos. And there was this big, tall dude. And I was like, hey, have you ever played Strategos? You should come play Strategos with us. So I'm pestering him. And he's talking to some other person. It turns out they're like both like really famous people. The tall guy, I'm pretty sure was Luke Gygax. And I didn't know who he was back then. I was like, I don't know. You know, I don't follow all the new gamer stuff. Like I know what your dad looks like, but I don't know what you look like. And I tried to convince Luke Gygax to come play Strategos with Ross. And so we had this game where David Wesley had to be one side. And we had 4 of us on the other side. And one of the people on the other side, I roped David McGarry's wife, Rose, into playing. And she was awesome. She was really into it. And so it was a fun game, but it's like, you know, I don't know. Look for things that you don't normally play when you go to the convention. You know, you're not at home. Don't play the regular game.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, sorry to keep doing the pitch on the Arnicon.
No, please. Yeah.
You're just making me more.
Yeah,
it's all right. I'm
more
always
excited
preaching
about
to
it.
Matt.
You're making Gary more excited.
No,
Yeah.
I get so excited about everything that I can't do. Like as soon as you told me the date, I'm like, oh, that's the last week of football season for all 3 of my kids. You know what I mean? I'm like, there's no way. Now I got to figure out.
It's because of your scheduling.
Yeah, well, scheduling,
tell them that
fear of
you're
flight,
putting them up for
money,
adoption.
you know, all that kind of. I've been threatening to sell the little one to Disney. Like he's really cute, like you know what I mean. But he's just I told him the other day, I'm like, I'm gonna sell you to Disney. I'm done. But I can't do that in real life.
Am I frozen on you guys?
No, you're good.
No, you're good.
Okay, my image is frozen. That might mean that my computer might go.
So
and I'll be back in a second.
We're all just to mess with you.
Yeah, we'll just stop.
I'm curious a little bit about the origins of Arduin. So it goes back to 1970.
But we're talking about unique chins in the chat. Anyway, origins of Arduin.
Arduin, we've been just, you know, to give you guys a little bit of a history with us with Arduin. We've been doing a lot to trace all the way back to the beginning of the industry and Dave Hargrave and his involvement. Like I had mentioned earlier, we are on the side behind the scenes. We're doing a bunch of interviews of former players and relatives of Dave Hargrave to put together what it was like to game with Dave Hargrave with Arduin, and what it was at the beginning and what the family thought. And we have a lot of different things that we found out from Dave Hargrave. You know, we've been talking on live streams about it, where he was a combat photographer in Vietnam. He was in Vietnam for many years. I think about 6 years that he was in Vietnam. And he was part of the intelligence agency. So he was a combat photographer, but he was part of the intelligence agency. So he did a lot more than I believe from what we know from the family. He was involved in a lot of things. They told us on how, you know, he did a lot where if you watch any footage on Vietnam films or pictures, there's a good chance Dave Hargrave did it, because the Department of Defense won't give credit to those photographers, but they were involved. And I think it has something to do with him being involved with the intelligence, DOD intelligence. But Hargrave, from what we have gathered, to take it back, Gary, even farther than 77, from the best that we can piece together from the family and from other people who were there, Dave Hargrave, when he came back from Vietnam in 68, we highly believe that Dave was gaming already in 68, late 60s, because from our understanding, he was involved with the Mensa group in California. He was involved with Caltech, and Mensa being the high IQ group there. And his family told us a lot of stories, and this is within the last 2-3 months, where he developed a game that really intrigued the Mensa people, and they were, they were just completely taken aback by this new cool game. So we have a feeling that Arduin was in development back in 68, 69, and he eventually went to print in 77, was the first Arduin Grimoire in February. And when you look at the amount of material and what he had in those books, and then Welcome to Skull Tower and Runes of Doom were volume 2 and 3 in 78, 79. You look at the material, 300 pages, and what Dave Hargrave did, he did not develop that quickly or within a year. So we fully believe Dave was playing Arduin in the late 60s, and it just went finally to print in 77, which kind of throws a lot of history off about D&D and some of the origins.
You don't want me to say anything right now. You just don't want me to say
right now.
Yeah,
I was just going to say, like,
uh-oh. You're going to bring up Dave, the other Dave, too. But
well, I just
do we go?
People, like, unless you give me a piece of paper that has a date on it, or you have a photograph of a game session. I've had so many people come to me when we were working on the movie. I had so many people come to me, and they're like, well, there was this guy and he was doing this thing, and it was like this whole role-playing game. And it's like, okay, this sounds interesting. What do you got? And they're like, well, I heard about it from a friend of a friend, but there's this guy like in Arizona and he has the whole thing. And, you know, and I'm like, okay, I've heard this one before.
Yeah.
Like the role-playing, I don't know. I'm not saying other people didn't invent similar things, but like I've had the same thing with the Tecumel people. They claim that like Barker was doing games around Empire of the Petal Throne, but he didn't really know what a role-playing game was until he showed up in the Twin Cities and saw it happening there, you know. And so just be careful when you start claiming those like historical things, because people I think people are a little too enthusiastic. Let's just put it that way.
Well, like I said, I
wouldn't believe that he did anything having.
We get a lot. We hear the same thing from different people, and when you start connecting the dots, and I'm not saying it was just Dave, but I think some of those early developers were doing things in the late 60s, you know, before they went to print with things. When you look at the material and what was published, you know, initially published, I think
it was in the zeitgeist. Like people wanted some sort of player versus like one player is one dude thing. But I think that like all the stuff that I've seen, it's like very suggestive, but I don't see the key elements in it. And I could go down that, like This isn't a show about me and my history knowledge and
Yeah.
stuff, so I'm not going to go into that. But I just, and be careful, or people are going to be like, remember when you said that thing? You're an idiot. It is possible that, let's just say, it is possible that
correct.
David Hargrave was doing some sort of role-playing game in 1968.
Well, to tell you the truth, though, we've stated this before. Dave Hargrave does not get a tenth of the credit he should get of the impact he had on this industry. And I'll stand and die on that hill 100%. Because going back to the point, Gary, when you look at the Arduin books, you will find a wellspring of things that even all the way up to modern standards, people have taken and used in every capacity. Like we talked about the first critical and fumbles, you'd have a hard time finding anything pre that. Even monster and item cards were something that Hargrave did. He was one of the first to do things like that. The mana system, which he did. And like I said, there's a lot that came from there. Alternity was a term that Dave Hargrave was using back in the 70s, before it became, alternity I know now is trademarked and everything. But Dave Hargrave was talking about that. I know comic books had the multiverse, but we believe Dave Hargrave was one of the first with a multiverse. One of the first to ever mix genres that came from Arduin: Western, historical, sci-fi. I mean, a lot of this you can trace back to Arduin, back in the day. And like I said, we're willing to fight that fight because no, I'm serious.
But you don't need to, because all people need to do is read the Arduin Grimoire and they'll be like,
I don't think there'll be much dispute. I mean, people are as the history and everything, somebody's always going to say something about this or that. But if you can go back and they're written down and you see the contributions, I don't think it's going to.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that isn't published that was in Blackmore, like mana points. I saw somebody mentioning, Judd was mentioning the mana points. We've got a set of rules with mana points from the Blackmore bunch that we think is like maybe around 72 or something like that. And so there's all this stuff that existed before that just wasn't published in games, but published in like stuff that was handed between people. But I wanted to bring up sort of an interesting thing about like the people who are playing, if you play in the classic format, I call it the classic format. It's just, there are so many games that are like derived from D&D that have similar, it's like, I don't know, they all have 6 stats for characters, similar combat systems, all that stuff. What's interesting is like when Matt was talking earlier, Matt Tapp, about coming up with a sort of a system, like a system, a way to
guide.
I forgot what it was called. The system guide for combining the systems. And if you look at all the old games, like in D&D, if you look at D&D, like the rules for opening doors, okay, those came out of Dungeon board game. It's pretty clear. It's like the same mechanic exactly. And so they just took it and they plugged it in there. It's like object-oriented programming. It's just like you just do a call for the thing that's going to do the thing. And so that's kind of the cool thing that you can't do with a lot of the newer games. I haven't tried it with something like 5e as an example, or with Pathfinder, but a lot of those games have so many components that if you try to plug and play part of the game, you're likely to break the whole system because the balance goes way out of whack. And what's interesting with these kind of low rule systems where they don't, like the design doesn't really concentrate on changing the mechanics of what you're playing. You can go, like if you play OD&D, you can play Barrows and Borderlands. You know exactly the game you're playing. Mm-hmm. The stuff is different, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same with Arduin. Like Arduin just dovetails with OD&D. It's like you just pick up the book and go, okay, we're going to use these monsters with this system. And I just think it's interesting that they're also interchangeable like that. And so that's another thing about like just the whole like portal bundle is that it really shows off how easily integrated all the different systems are.
Yeah.
And all the early games were like that, Yeah. And so I don't know where I was going with that, but I just wanted to mention that because it was like this thing that came
I'll pick it up.
Like, oh yeah, you can play these things with anything.
So
it's very plug and play.
when we were starting out group, my parents weren't an idea in the 60s. So as far as the history, I'll go with you guys. But when we started out gaming back in high school, we started with 5th and brought a starter set, 2014. It just came out. Our only reference was like my dad used to play. And it's funny, I still go to this same game store he went to when he was a kid.
Wow.
We didn't really know what it was. Yeah, the Green Dragon. It's been open since, but
Amazing.
Jealousy.
Yeah, dude, the same owner too. We immediately said, okay, this is really cool. How do we make a character? Okay, we're done. We don't need to read anything else. We just hopped right into it. And then we've been mixing games. Like we would grab board games. Like I remember, what was it? The zombie fighting. Yeah. One of us got it as like a gift for Christmas or something. And we were like, oh, cool. So we'll use this to, we'll have like zombie combat and we'll represent like us getting locked in a board game. And then even today, like when I went back and started reading OD&D back when we started, I saw stuff like using the outdoor survival board game. I was like, oh, that makes total sense. And then, I mean, because we also love board gaming. We have as many board games as we do system books that we mix in. I know time we're on here, we're talking about like the Jenga blocks to difference in the game system and stuff like that. But I always try to think of, okay, with our current campaign so that we don't have to end anything. Everybody's still playing. For us is it's the people we're playing with and the table. So, and we've got thousands of characters that really didn't really more so. All right, what world are we in this weekend? Okay. Are you going to play your character from the other world? We'll get here. So, do you need to change anything this week? Oh man, sorry, you're a magic user, which means you're now just a fighting man because Tecumel uses psychic magic. We just do stuff like that.
Yeah, it keeps it fresh too, right? Because you're not playing the same system over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make a brief comment. I have some pinned questions from the chat and then
that's great.
So yeah, sorry. Death Angel Shadow, I'm really sorry. You've been waiting for a while. But I wanted to say, I actually think like the plug and play nature of like, I'm going to use the term OSR because I like that term, but I think is actually a feature. I know like Alexander Macris, like some years ago, actually sort of like, I can't remember where, but I won't say it's a complaint, but more of like a criticism. It's like, oh, old school D&D is just like an incomplete system. And when you understand his gaming philosophy and his design philosophy is like simulation, it makes perfect sense that he would say that. But a good friend of mine on my Discord server, Eric, he said he goes, well, I don't think he understands is like the incompleteness is a feature. It's not a bug, And I do like that. I've like been gaming all over on all sides of the spectrum, and I have Adventure Conquer King system, and I use it more of as a reference tool. I don't know if I can ever run it because I like something a little bit more light, but yeah, this I don't know why no one's tried this before, like getting 3 companies together to showcase like what you can do with like these older games, but. All right, let me go through these. So Death Angel Shadow's first question is, so I should be able to use all of it with CNC. I think it means Castles and Crusades.
Probably.
I don't see why not.
Well, what's CNC based on? Is it AD&D or OD&D? It's AD&D, isn't it?
I think it's AD&D.
Yeah.
AD&D. I mean,
I think you
might want to boost the health and then just hop right into it.
Yeah.
You know what I'd like to see is a Shadow Dart conversion.
That one's even easier.
Yeah.
Is Shadow Dark even easier?
That one's even easier.
Shadow Dark, you should add a Shadow Dark
one. He can
Shadow Dark. Yeah.
Take him 5 minutes.
If you renamed it Portal to the Shadow Portal to the Dark Adventure,
you better be careful. You'll make millions. You're going to
5th E Shadow
summon Chubby Funster here in a second.
He told us about an hour ago he had to go to bed, and that dude he's out. Bro, trust me, he's done. So we can.
No, he can go. Wait, somebody said something about a Shadow Dart conversion. He's gonna be right on.
Yeah.
the compatibility though is a big thing to go off what Griff and Matt have been talking about, where it is a merge, Matt and Gary, of 3 different things, and it's compatible pretty much with anything. I can't see an issue having any issue with CNC, because again, it's the 6 stats, it's the armor class, it's the hit points. You have different magic systems, you have different things that are highly compatible. So we see it being compatible with any old school game. I don't see there being much of an adjustment to any game. I think it'll work with CNC just as fine as anything else with the game. And
we actually ran a test run because some of my core players, I wanted to make work and everything, and we had some of my people will run like AD&D or like a Hyperborea character sheet. They'll run a B, one or two of them were trying out the Portal to Adventure character sheet, and it all worked fine. Rules are going to wind up being the same thing. Make a strength check, make a so-and-so check. And then you just go from there. I know, like, if system was wildly, maybe you could spend a little extra time compatible, but I really don't. I mean, most of the OSR things are like that.
I just,
and like you said, it's like a feature.
I had people that were posting pictures and they were playing Shadow Dark, like Tonnisborg with Shadow Dark, and they just, actually, I don't know what they were doing to port it, but they were like really thrilled. They were like, "Oh my god, this old dungeon is awesome!" With Shadow Dark. So they were
Shadow Dark. Shadow Dark is such a bare bones sort of like structure of a game that like you don't even need to do any real work to convert. Like when I was
it's kind of a knave system, I've heard.
Yeah, I was doing things on the fly. I'm just kind of like looking at like a descending armor class in Shadow Dark using ascending, right? And it's just like doing the math on the fly. Like I didn't have to do much because it really is sort of rooted in the like that OSR, even though it's got new school design principles, I guess. So
Borderlands has on like the 3rd page or whatever the how to just do ascending armor class and stuff. You could just use that, swap it over. You could use the classes from Shadow Dark, split up some of the class features from B&B, like the ones from Radioactive Boogaloo or the ones from Arduin, and you could split them up into the rolling to see what you get when you level up that Shadow Dark has, and that could be kind of neat. And then, I mean, one of the guys at our table, he runs, because I don't know if he really likes playing game, but he plays with a Barons of Brownstein character, so he's just doing entire time.
Oh wow!
Yeah, everyone else is running different characters. He always just shows up. He's like, I'll just send it to who my character is, and we'll just roll 6 the entire night.
Yeah,
and it works fine.
Nice.
Next question.
All right. Next one from Death Angel Shadow. What's the anticipated backer levels ballpark? Do you have you got that figured out yet?
We do. I answered that on right after that.
Oh, I must have missed that.
Right, well, then. We weren't really going to disclose that, but it's planned to be very cost effective.
Okay.
We were going to disclose it once the Kickstarter opens.
Very good. All right.
Unless George has changed his mind there.
I'm trying to get him to change his mind. I think you need 5 levels, not 3.
No pressure, man.
Yeah,
36
pressure.
We got 44 people involved. Matt's at 36. I'm at 5. Yeah.
$1. No.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's going to be affordable. I mean, we're keeping it simple. There's I will say this: there's only 3 rewards, so it's going to be a 1, 2, 3. We're going to keep it very streamlined in there. You guys, right. I feel all the pressure coming on me. Like,
all right, next question.
We will move on. We're not.
Next question.
All right, and then this is from Fox of RPG. What are some of your favorite classes or races in this combined mix? How many of them were there again? Hold on a second. We got 35 new character classes, 65 new character races, 130 character mutations. My God, 300 plus monsters, 250 plus spells. 90 plus critical miscast possibilities. Wowza. So what are your favorites? What are you excited about sharing with the world?
I'm probably with France. I'm probably gonna say Frank, the Arduin France. I'm just, and it's because I like the Empire of the Petal Throne, the buggy people in that, whose name I can't remember right now because I'm an idiot and things slip out of my mind. But the France are kind of like the Arduin version of the EPT bugs. How about everybody else?
Well, like I said,
yeah, I think France, but sorry, I didn't mean to. Yeah, no, France for me are pretty cool. I'm really excited about your class. I know my players like the idea of how that sounds, but
isn't there a song?
I know Arduin
Weaver.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, with one of the magic systems involving mana points, it definitely changes things up quite a bit. But that was interesting to see too, with one player using mana points, and then another player using just what's in Tonnisborg, and that also went well. And until somebody critically miscasts and sends himself 20 million years in the past.
Yeah, that's awesome. I run Magic very similarly. I'm a big Lamentations of the Flame Princess guy, and James Raggi has tied Magic to alignment. So, like, if you're a priest, you believe in an ordered universe, so you have to be lawful. But if you're a Magic user, you're actually challenging the established order, so you have to be chaotic. And so there's this tension between those two classes, and running with it logically in my mind. Well, and he also describes Magic as kind of like an art form. It's like, why wouldn't you have a plethora of different Magic classes? So every time I run a game that's Lamentation, I tell anybody, and this box set's actually just going to give me more ammunition. I'm like, if you have a Magic using class that you want to use, bring it to me and I'll make it work. So you can be the artist as you're like tearing apart reality and doing whatever, So I love that.
I made the miscast table twice as long.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I also made the mutation. It's also in the radioactive boogaloo, but I made it 130 new mutations for that. But
wow,
I was like, well, that's got to be even more wild.
Well, that's my favorite character class right now. Like I have yet to get in a game in one of your games, but I rolled up a mutant and I've been chomping at the bit to play him. So I like that fun. Sort of thing. Yeah, I just like playing like the random characters. They got random stuff happening to them, and just I don't know what my character's going to be.
That's what you get. You play the Fraint bug people from Arduin, and then you get then you pick like the Rune Weaver class, so or even Rune Singer. You're mixing spells together, and you wind up going down into Dungeons of Tonnisborg. I guess you'll have to know it.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of cool races. I kind of like Matt. He has the green skulls in B&B. I thought that was intriguing, taking a look at that, some of those. But there's, like I said, every flavor of a class or race that we have between the books. It's quite extensive and really kind of cool.
It has rules for playing a dragon in there. So talk about extensive. You can specifically how to play as most of the monsters and they really wanted to. And then in my campaign, what I'm gonna do with that is have my players run stuff like the Orc Hordes or layer. Why not do like patron play with the dragons and see how the player that.
It just was, again, I want to state it again, how much of a great fit it was with B&B and Tonnisborg with the system, just because, like I said, Hargrave just broke down all the monsters, all these classes, and then the extra classes and races that was in B&B just fit like a glove. And Matt was able to go through and put all these charts together with all this stuff in the Boogaloo that's in the bundle.
So much reading.
Yeah, in there. You have a plethora, the Rune Weaver, like Matt has mentioned, the Rune Singer from Arduin, and all the different cool classes that were there. So it just, again, amazing how it all fit. And, to some of the earlier points with the old style of gaming, having that openness where not everything is detailed allows you to be creative. And I think sometimes people forget that. It's cool. Don't get me wrong. We used to play Rollmaster with Arduin, Dave and I, back in high school. So we used Rollmaster with Arduin, and that was fun. It was a lot of fun. But the older systems and the OSR style with games like this, like that's in the bundle between Tonnisborg and B&B and Arduin, just gives you that imaginative where I know Matt had one of his players who rolled up a dragon character who was a character class from the game and everything. And there's very little that you have to adjust to it. And then you become creative, roll on the special ability charts, get a mutation if that's into it. And you've got something unique. And no, you don't have all the rules, but you have enough that gives you enough of a foundation. And then use your imagination, which is limitless. So I think it goes to the heart of what gaming was and still can be to this day. So again, it just was a perfect fit, with everything. And like I said, it's great having good people working with great people, I should say, and the synergy between all of us and what we're doing and to present it to everybody. And again, we're going to do the best we can to bring the best we can, the best things we can make. A lot of it's being handmade, produced, and we'll give it the best price. And again, I don't mean to hold off on the pricing levels and everything. We got to save a little bit of something when it actually launches, and then you can really see everything, that's on the Kickstarter. But we're very proud of it, and we're passionate. And I know I got passionate there. Sorry, Griff. Sorry, everybody. But here's my Italian going. I got the hands going.
I was going to say the two guys that can talk.
Yeah, the hands are going. You got my hands going now, Griff. I'm going to be like, kind of like, right, Matt, like Alan in the other game when they do the manja play and he's screaming manja. But
do we have another question?
It really goes into the heartbeat of OSR is what I want to say with everything we're doing.
Yeah. Do we have another question, or were those the main questions you had saved up?
Yeah, those were the questions I had.
Oh, okay. Well, we got through the questions. That's good.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna have to leave in a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I see Baron's like Starbarian and Dragon Slayers. Yeah, that's a fun one. Baron's in the chat, just listing out so many of the cool new races classes.
Oh, the Geigers,
the
Deodans
are fun too.
The Amazons, Robo Slayers.
I've been meaning to say, and there's you guys are giving us so much good stuff, but I just wanted to say for those of you that have not had a chance to read Barrows and Borderlands, and I've seen a few questions earlier about what is it, and we say, it's very OD&D, and it is. But I feel like there's some really unique things about it that are maybe not OD&D. I don't want people to think it's like a clone,
it's
or
not.
like it's trying to do to OD&D maybe what OSC did with BX. This is a very unique game that I think stands, that is built upon OD&D. But there's like the casting system, I feel is anyway. It's radiation resistance.
Mutants,
that kind of the mutants. The Electric Boogaloo. I haven't even read it because I can still read those 4 pamphlets and get new things from them. And then the Electric Boogaloo is just like, what are you think? It's so free and imaginative. You know what I mean? It is so great and free.
Yeah. Well, I just want to, on that point, before you say anything, I'm sorry, Matt. I don't mean to. I just think this is very important because a lot of the discourse that I've seen for the past few years and the indie scene has been very, I don't know. It's sort of like they have forgotten like that creative, chaotic, sort of frenetic energy that was happening in the 70s, late 60s and 70s when all this was happening, and all that amazing stuff that was happening when I was like a kid getting into this for the first time and just playing with it. It's like, I wasn't playing by the rules. I was making a lot of mistakes, but you know what? We were having fun, and all this crazy things we were coming up with that were just adding to our games that made them very unique and ours. dare I say it, it's kind of like the Lamentations magic user. It's like an art. It's like it's what you want to do with it. And I think we've kind of lost that in the discourse, and it kind of saddens me. And that's why this project I think is really, really awesome. And I just think it's really highlighting that. So anyway, I'm getting off my soapbox.
And he showed me his game, and I was like, "Ooh, this is cool." Because I see so many people that I'm not saying don't play the game you play. I don't care what you play, but I see a lot of people that are in the OSR and they're playing all these clones and stuff, and I'm like, why don't you play? I'm literally just, why don't you play original? Like, just get the original stuff. Wherever you see holes, just make up your own rule, or just do a ruling while you're playing and just move on, right? Because everybody knows I love Holmes Basic is kind of the core rules, but I don't even play Holmes Basic the way it was written because I don't like initiative. I just do parallel actions, And so yeah, I remember running into Matt, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I got this game. Do you want a copy?" I was like, "Yes, I do." I'd show you my copy, but I think it's underneath my computer right now, so
I'd show you
looking at the camera directly instead of.
I could see the look in Grimmy. I could see the look in your eyes, Griff, when you first another person, and I just like, "Hi, here's my game." But
yeah, it was who's this clown, right?
Well, I mean, the thing that I saw, because I mean, it's not like there really isn't, and
it's mixing,
it's based on us playing it. Yeah, we mix in like the radiation stuff from Gamma World, or like the casting, liked how it felt in like Chainmail with the 2d6, and so we were like, well, a little different. It's throwing some miscasting in there, and how I saw OD&D when I downloaded a copy off of Drive-Thru, but started reading it on there, and I was like, okay, so this kind of feels like tools to go out and make your own game. And that's really how it felt, because he talked about stuff like John Carter and Mars, and he was talking about like if you were doing wandering monsters on like Barsoom, and I was he's expecting you to go out and do something with this. And then I got into stuff like Empire Petal Throne. I'm like, OD&D being the skeleton, and then taking it and turning it into a full body almost.
Yeah.
And go back and we play just OD&D sometimes too, because we have portals that go to just we actually have a portal in our home campaign that goes to like Greyhawk, Blackmoor, and we'll just use OD&D there. And then we even have another portal that just goes to medieval Europe, and we'll just play without the fantasy rules for Chainmail and stuff like that. But those are my favorite games. It's like Empire of the Petal Throne, Emporia did it, like stuff like that, where it's, I think y'all brought it up last time I was on, where it's the setting married to the fleshed it out for their table. They've added, it's just neat.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, and it is one of those things where it's not just when we say people are stuck in the rules, it's not even just the guys who are like, it's got to be the rules, it's got to be this. It's kind of, I think, all of us. We've all, like, I know for myself over the past couple years, it's been like, let's just stick with these rules and see if we can break them or stretch them. Like, I don't know why. It was just a phase. And I think everybody goes through it. But when you came on the show, actually, Griff, when you came on the show and you were like, yeah, man, play your game.
Yeah.
I was kind of scratching my head. I was like, fuck, he's right. And then a few months later, Matt comes on, and I didn't understand your game. Like, I thought we were talking about Barrows and Borderlands, and then it is all this other stuff. I really, if all you guys who are watching now should go to the Barrows and Borderlands channel, where Matt kind of breaks down what he's doing in more detail. It is really inspiring, as far as running games. And then here we are now, where you're reaching back, to the beginning of gaming, right? Putting it all together, and it's going to be I think you're going to have a great Kickstarter. It's a great marriage, I think.
Yeah,
So,
I think
it's going to be.
I'm
great.
highlighting Baron Cars's because this is actually this is exactly 100% correct. We lost the why not over time. I think that's 100% correct. Like, why not? Like, my Gods of the Forbidden North campaign has actually been inspired by, you know, Matt and Griff's commentary, and I'm looking forward to what the Arduin guys here, what you guys got. But I've been like importing all sorts of stuff into that campaign where, like, maybe a year and a half ago, I would have been like, nope, it's OSC. I got to
Oh, there goes Matt. See,
stick with OSC. Like, no.
the OSR police froze Matt. That's what happens.
Yeah, see?
He was about to
They're
say
targeting.
something,
They're
and he-
targeting.
And to the whole point that what we were talking about, just what you said, Matt, and you know, all of us have been talking about when, and this kind of feeds in because you know, to get a little bit back to about Arduin and what it was about. A lot of people sometimes, you know, they tag Gonzo on things, you know, especially
I
with
hate that term. I hate
that term too. I despise it.
God.
And I think what people miss is the old style gaming. And when you look at Arduin and the older games and B&B and everything, and Tonnisborg with Dave Arneson, his Blackmore, it wasn't Gonzo when people, you know, Gonzo with such a derogatory term. The systems back then, the development of these worlds allowed you to import and to do different things, to have the sci-fi, the Western, the horror, and mix it all in because the systems were viable enough. The worlds were viable enough to handle it. You didn't have to just play a strict medieval style. You could have a low magic barbarian Conan style. You could have a very high tech style if you wanted to. Battlestar Galactica, you know, type of style game. And I think that really hones back to it where these games, instead of a derogatory Gonzo, no, that was because it allowed you to do anything in the game, not be Munchkin or, you know, Monty Hall.
Yeah,
I was going to reply to the question even before the question was asked.
I've never heard Gonzo as derogatory.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
When I hear Gonzo, what I think is, I'm thinking like Hunter S. Thompson, balls to the wall, whatever you want to throw up there, go for it. Anything goes.
Yeah.
And that's, just exactly whatever you think is cool. So if I accidentally say Gonzo, that's a compliment.
See, I know the term being used in a derogatory way, like it's dumb, and it's like, I mean, I kind of like the humorous stuff in games. It's like you know, reality is hilarious, like, you know, so it's like it's almost like just finding the humor in real life and putting it into your game, and but whenever I see Gonzo being used, half the time it seems derogatory, so that's why I don't like it. It's like, oh, that's just Gonzo. That's stupid, you know.
I read.
I like Fear and Loathing, so I
read Venger Satanis's Chalt, and I learned to love Gonzo. I was just because that's like, you want Gonzo, go read that. That's just some of the craziest stuff. I'm shocked
it's more
Venger
pulp,
hasn't
though.
been like put into an insane asylum.
Venger is just pulp, though. Like,
I do normally use, pulp is a good. I do normally use the term weird, which I like because a lot of our games, like I have my players read the Weird Tales magazine and stuff, and I get that stuff because, you know, like that way we're kind of on the same fiction when we're playing, and but so weird is usually the term we use, or pulpy is usually the Gonzo. We use it sometimes. It just kind of in the same light, but I can definitely see where you would get like of the games that have come out have called themselves Gonzo, and maybe they were just kind of going, oh, that means I don't have to care about it.
Right. It sounds. I think that if you don't know the exact meaning of how the term is being used, it can sound wrong. You know,
it's like if you have to tell people that you're cool, or you're really cool.
Yeah. But you know, back to the whole thing when we were talking about like mixing systems. The thing I love, like I tried that in my own games. I finally just was like, I'm going to go sci-fi in my fantasy world. And I kind of did this mashup campaign. I won't do the whole. It's a long story, but I just mashed together like the D20 system from Pathfinder, just the die roll system, and OD&D, and I took Metamorphosis Alpha and Empire of the Petal Throne, and I built this like space station, and and that it was so liberating, because I think when you get stuck in just one setting, that's why I like the combo of all these things. Like, you don't have to use them the way they're written. You can use them just as, I mean, like Tonnisborg kind of presents itself as like a standard D&D style fantasy swords and sorcery type thing. But like in my own games, I've got like, the gloves are off and the sleeves are rolled up because we're going to do some really weird stuff, and you're not going to know what you're dealing with, And it was hilarious, like giving my players, because they know what the thing is, but they don't want a metagame, right? Because we're all kind of experienced gamers. So they get a banana that's bronze, that's a paperweight, and I describe the bronze banana paperweight to them, and of course immediately they think it's a gun. And it was just hilarious. They were carrying it around. They couldn't figure out how to use it, but they were like, we got this thing and it's like a freaking gun and we're in medieval land, I totally pranked them.
At our recent game, that's the whole reason I set like the core setting of the universe between universes is what I said. But that way we could pull in people from different universes. At one table we'll have like a Solomon Kane figure. We got one dude that's a psychic lightsaber. We've got who else was there? We've got your old school Conan-y barbarian dude who's not wearing a shirt, and then we've got like a Roman legionnaire with a musket rifle. And all those are like at my open table session. I guess samurai in there too, and it's sort of everything thrown in there. But I think the main thing is the world. At least at our table, like we make jokes and we're talking about comedy in it, but we take at least the world seriously. We're like, okay, well, this happened because of this or this or this. But that. It's also kind of neat to see like a Jedi walking around with Conan and Solomon Kane.
Yeah. Well, no, as you were talking and keeps earlier, somebody brought up 9 Princes in Amber, and as I'm thinking about your game, I was like, oh, I've always wanted to run one of those games. That's how you do it. So thanks, Matt. Thank you.
Oh, there you go.
It's last time Matt was on the show, he schooled us all as well. He comes on and starts talking, and it's like, oh, I've only been playing like as long as he's alive, and he's so much better at all of this than I am.
Oh no.
No, it's all right.
I'm just really good at pretending like I've got it together.
That might be the case.
I mean,
if
you go back,
I know what's going on.
If you go back to the original games, I mean, Blackmoor is ostensibly the first RPG. It's got sci-fi in it. The players come from modern Earth, and they appear on Blackmoor, and they've got to find their friend who got lost. Then later, they're playing games. There was a part of Blackmoor that was like a World War II setting island that they would go to and do stuff there. And it was sort of like a military campaign game on one level, like high-level wargaming. But then they would go visit it and mess around with stuff. And Gygax did that too. There was a thing, I think it was like, what was it called? Panzerfaust, and I forgot what it was called. It was like a fantasy meets World War II scenario.
It's like bonus rules for like tactics or something, right?
Yeah.
And strategic review.
Yeah. And then like, I mean, they would play in each other's worlds. And even when Dave Arneson was playing with Barker and Arneson was a player, there was the time when they literally Arneson got this magic item and he triggered it, and it transported the whole party into Blackmoor, and they just stood up and traded seats, and suddenly all the players were in Blackmoor, and they were terrified, of course, because Blackmoor is really lethal and Barker wasn't very lethal. And they were just like, oh my God, I've been working on my character for like 3 years and it's going to die in the next week or so of play. Yeah, I was just like, they kind of considered, I mean, that idea, it's all through the literature that inspires all this stuff. So like, there is an aspect of like, so-and-so invented this, so-and-so invented that. They're all looking at the same literature,
Yeah.
And so you can like just suck that in, and everybody does.
Which is why I have them read the books, because it really gets them into it. But what I got to shout out the Green Dragon in Charleston, because he's one of the guys that really got me into having it all at the same table mixed. Because when we were over there playing like a game or whatever, and he saw that we were playing OD&D, and he was just talking about gaming back in the 70s for him. And he said, yeah, I mean, back then and even into like the early 80s, when you would join a table, a lot of times you'd already have a character from some other table or some other system, and you just sit down and be like, I'm playing so-and-so, the third level so-and-so, and then you would just join the game. And
there was
yeah, I mean, it's just that.
There was
that
an interview I
was what
did
made it click.
for Dave and George. They have me doing these interviews with these old Arduin guys, and one of them was this guy who played with Hargrave, like he already was playing Arduin, and so he showed up at it was a long story about how he got in the game. He wasn't supposed to be. He convinced one of the other players to drop out so he could take his slot in the game. So he gets in the game, and it's a high-level game. They're all running like 10th level characters, which a 10th level character in OD&D type games is more like a 20th level character, say in 5e. It's like this is a badass. And he goes in and he just described being in a situation, and they were in basically a sci-fi dungeon, and he got involved with these like robotic floating things, and he did all the wrong things, and it sounded like within an hour of being in the game he lost a 10th level character that he'd been working on for years. I mean, we didn't, you don't get to 10th level. Like in my campaign that I ran for my first campaign, I think in 2 years the thief was at 9th level and everybody else was at like 6th to 8th, something like that, and a lot of lower level characters. And so but he was just like, yeah, that's just how we played. I mean, like the DM was just like, your character disappears for whatever reason, that the alien robot beings take your character away, I think was what he described, or maybe he got killed, I don't remember. But and it was just like, okay, the character I've been working on for like 2 or 3 years is done, and so that idea of playing with different DMs and the high risk factor of playing, it's just interesting. It's a different style. Like I kind of revel in. I always challenge DMs to kill my characters, because I want to see if the DM is actually pulling their punches or not. And so like, the minute I can tell they're like fudging the dice because I'm doing stupid stuff to see if they'll like kill me, I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm bored now. But I revel in having my characters brutalized.
We have a track record at the game store of not having a session where somebody hasn't died. It was a Blue Moon session last time. Nobody died that session, and we were all like, whoa, what's going on now? I've got like six character sheets of people been eaten by giant spiders in the past couple months. But that's one thing you brought up, how long it takes to get to 10th level. That's another weirdness to Arduin that I found when y'all were showing it to me, was he has it going up to a 100th level. And it's like still having the same progression as like OD&D. Like it's still, it's gonna take you just as long to get to 10th level. But he has stuff in there about, well, if you do get that high, here's what that means.
Right.
And so that was part of the compatibility guide too, was making sure that all the classes from B&B and the staple ones in Tonnisborg could do that also for that.
Yeah. Interesting. Real quick, if Griff, you like your characters getting brutalized, I'll invite you to my next Lamentations game.
I love it.
But I actually want to talk, George and Dave, just kind of going back, because you guys got it. You were talking about the history and some of the interviews and stuff you've been doing. What Griff's done with like the Secrets of Blackmore was like a complete revelation and really helped me understand like where this hobby came, because I started in 1988, right? So is this something that you guys are planning on doing like down the road, doing something like, but focusing on Hargrave and Arduin? Like you're gonna do like a book or a documentary or something? I don't want to like,
Well, no, absolutely no. We've talked about it before, but Griff has been awesome doing these interviews, and unfortunately we're trying to get as many people as we can, because as time goes by we keep losing people.
Oh sure, yeah,
we should have really done these a lot sooner.
Over
the years, but...
and we're still have some more on deck coming up. Just so you know, Griff, we'll let you know that we want to get some more people involved. and it's going to be like a series. We're doing this on Zoom. We'll get to a point where we'll do like a video documentary, a series that talks about Hargrave, talks about him, the Arduin game, and just to put together that history. And it's great having Griff, involved with it, because he knows all the back and forth. He knows the history. He knows his stuff. He holds his ground with things, about, hey, you got to have the facts, and which is true. You got to be able to back up anything that you state. But we're planning in the future, as we get enough together, to basically do a video series documentary. Now, it probably won't be anything extensive like Secrets of Blackmore to that level, but I think, and Griff, you could probably talk to this, it'll be more of a different interviews with people's perspective on how they knew Dave, how they did the game. And we're trying to, with the family, trying to get some of that background, trying to get some of the information, like what was the real deal. There was letters that he wrote to his mom from Vietnam and during his military career. So we're trying to get some of that. And we're going to try to put together as much as we can validated. We're trying to get our hands on some critical pieces of information validated too, so that some of the things we believe we can validate, so with something historic. But, that's right now a dream. We'd have to, validate it.
Well, so many of these people, I mean, there are a lot of people that are really significant in early gaming, and they weren't very well documented. And I mean, I just think it's a shame that there aren't like really incisive interviews with Gygax and Arneson, just on record somewhere so that you can reference them. And the same thing with Hargrave. Like, I don't think, is there even any video footage or film footage of Hargrave? It's just not there.
No.
No, there's audio.
Yeah,
there's audio?
We have audio. We have audio.
A lot of audio.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah. He was, when he was Neville
designing the game.
Yeah. Neville Stockton from Archive Miniatures, when he did Star Rovers, he was
I
having.
remember that.
Yeah. There's a. Do I have it here?
Are they like still on cassette, or have you digitized them?
Both. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Digitize all of that. No, I think it's important. Just, as a historian, it's just important to, like, the sort of stuff that I did with Secrets of Blackmore. It's like it's really time consuming to put it together into a cohesive story. And I think the movie could have used like another 3 years of work, but we were just like, if we don't put this out there, there's so many movies that failed in making a movie. We'll just put this out. Maybe we'll do a follow-up. Nobody's interested in Stephanie, I'm friends with Paul, actually. And Paul actually was a consultant for Secrets of Blackmore. So, and the archive that he has was used in the movie also. And like, I would run things by Paul Stormberg if I was like, well, do you think this is this? I'm going to say this in the movie. Do you think that's a valid statement? He would be like, yeah, I think it is. But I mean, I think the main thing is to look at these things as a historical resource that, like, if you have these things recorded, like even just the interviews with family members, in 100 years, somebody's going to want to know, like, what was going on in this time period? Who were these people? What and why were they doing, whatever. And so even our interviews are archived. There's a lot of stuff we didn't use in film. There are people who don't even appear in the film. There's a whole extensive interview with Tim Kask. There are interviews with the guys that were down in Florida that worked with Dave. And they didn't get into the movie because it didn't seem relevant to the early stages of the development of RPG, but they would be interesting in a movie that covered more of Dave's life. And so we have this archive, and maybe in 100 years when I'm long dead, somebody's going to be like, I want to make a movie about Dave Arneson. And they've got all this interview footage that we did, Chris and I together, and our assistant, Ryan Swan. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that it's really significant that you guys are doing these interviews on even though we're going through Zoom, and so they're not super fancy video wise or whatever, but the content is so important. The last interview, which just blew my mind though, like to have that kind of exciting game talk and him just like, oh my God, I'm playing with Hargrave and I'm
that was great. And we're going to do another one with him, Griff. We're going to talk.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Yeah. He was amazing, and we'll do more. And we've even had some big D&D game designers from some of the editions who are doing interviews with us. We got one and we have a second one.
Oh yeah.
Remember that? And so
Yeah.
some of the D&D designers for some of the editions talk about how Arduin and Dave Hargrave influenced their making of some of the D&D editions. So like I said, there's so many tie-ins. So it again, it's more of a long-term project. Just to get to your question, Matt, on what this is, we're going to try to get more people this year, some more next year, get it to where we have 12 to 15 sessions, and then maybe start putting this together. So maybe as a 5-year plan, we can have something where we have this quote unquote video documentary about Hargrave and Arduin.
Well, that sounds awesome because ever since I got into the OSR, Arduin has been, and Tecumel and all these terms and these worlds and these games are been floating around, and it's I wasn't there, and I'm I'm a bit of a historian myself, so understanding the whys and the whos, and that, like I said, Secrets of Blackmore was just such a revelation. So I'm already just when I was at your website earlier today, and just and then hearing all this stuff about Hargrave, I'm just man, I want to know more. So keep me in the loop. When you're ready to launch that, we'll have you on the show again.
I had
hopefully before then, but yeah.
I had a player asking me, he was one of the newer players, and he was like, you mentioned this Dave Arneson guy. Who is that? And I went, okay, time for a Secrets of Blackmore watch party.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. No, I think that Hargrave is George and Dave are huge fans, and will tell you that Hargrave is just so significant. But historically speaking, there are a handful of great DMs that created really amazing stuff early on. I think it's as you get a proliferation of games, then there's more stuff that people can look at as a reference and come up with their own stuff, And so I'm mostly interested in the early stuff because these people are just kind of they're trying to shove together their vision that's coming maybe from fiction and movies and stuff to create a world that can work within a game system, combined with a game system, and be this experiential, immersive experience. And I always say Dave Arneson, Gary Gygax are the top ones. Rob Kuntz also is a top one. The other one would be, of course, Barker. Back to Rob, I didn't realize that Rob was the one who created the multiple hit die system for D&D. That was his dream, his little imaginative addition to D&D. He's not really credited for it. I guess it's in a Blackmore supplement, so he's credited that way. But then you've got Hargrave in 77, right up there with Holmes. And I think that Hargrave is just so, it's just so clear the guy's a freaking genius. Because he doesn't edit himself, he just goes off and just mashes all this stuff together and presents it in a way that makes sense. This is a cohesive world setting, And so if you're a gamer and you're I play D&D, I play old school stuff. It's well, if you haven't even read the first volume of Arduin Grimoire, this is something missing from your reading list, and you need to put it at the top of the stack, as far as I'm concerned.
And the Grimoires are 300 pages.
They're massive.
Just in the trilogy. I mean, yeah. I just got done reading through all of it when I was putting together the compatibility guide, and I'm talking to George about it. I'm like, where did this not go? It never left here. It never left right here. And it's stuff that just now that I've read it, I'm like, oh, that's a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm. It's weird. I mean, it's because it's also coming out of that time. All we have is OD&D, right? Yeah. He literally is playing OD&D. He probably got a copy before the supplements were even out, so in 74 or so. And so he's looking at the original thing and he's saying, okay, this is cool, but it's incomplete. The original, Dave and Gary both thought here's your toolbox, make your world, was kind of the attitude in original D&D. And yes, it's kind of incomplete, but that's the idea. Whereas you, Matt, that was saying that it's a feature, not a bug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I got two Matts, but I know which Matt I'm talking about.
That one over there.
Over yonder there. But I forgot where I was going with this.
The Brady Bunch.
It's just
We
like
need
there's
3 more
it's-
people. 3 more.
Yeah, there you go.
If you look at it, you have to look at it in the context of when it was created, and there's literally nothing out there. Original D&D are like 3 little booklets that are like they're like a piece of paper folded in half, and there's about 66 pages in each volume. At least half of that is charts and like descriptions of spells and things. And so you've got this guy out there that goes, well, this is cool, but I need kind of a world to play this in. Yeah, it's tiny. I think your paper is your paper heavier than what's in the original books, or it felt.
Oh, the one oh yeah, those that the one for the OD&D booklets, the one I use for my home prints.
But I mean, it's just I always tell people that like you don't understand what it was like when we didn't have these resources. And I remember as a kid, like everybody wanted some kind of a D&D movie, and the best we got was like a King Arthur type movie, and Wizards was what I remember as a kid. And every time there was a new sort of fantasy or sci-fi thing that kind of felt like, what was the one that was like set in ancient Greece? I forgot. It had the animated skeletons in it. Anyway, we did that stuff.
Yeah.
To us, that was like, it's
Sinbad,
not a licensed product specifically about D&D, but we were just like, okay, I'm going to eat this all up and put, this is going in the game now too, right? And so for Arduin to be so expansive is just kind of mind-blowing if you look at it within the context of what was out there at the time, because there was almost nothing out there within the first 2 years. And I'm on a rant. I'll shut up now. But I always think it's important to look at things in the context of when they were made.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the things for me too, when I really decided like, whoa, the OSR is kind of like what I want to do, because up until like 2019, I was very much loyal to the brand. So I played 3rd, 4th edition, 5th edition. I played all of it, and then one day I'm just like, wait a minute, people are still playing the old stuff, and then I found like Lamentations and all that other stuff. But I think part of what's been fun for me is like looking back as sort of like this exploration of like this hobby that I love so much, and like where it came from. And I almost feel like you have a slight obligation to kind of understand it all. So if you're interested in writing, like you, Matt, like myself, like Gary, when we're looking forward, we want to know what the shoulder, what was it, the giants were standing on, right, their shoulders, and see what they're doing, and like stay in that whole line. I just think you're limiting yourself if you don't really fully understand where it came from. So like I said, Arduin, I'm like, this is something I need to know, so I'm really fascinated. I'm glad that you're doing those interviews. So like, so
it's a passion project for us, and again, we feel strongly about doing it.
I mean, I think that
if there's anybody out there that knows somebody or they are somebody, we're definitely willing to set it up with them too. We'd love to.
Correct.
I mean, I think if you look at the original, and also like with the Kickstarter, you kind of got 3 different games. They're using the same system, plugging and playing different options in there, basically doing the same thing. But you look at the people that were the originators of these things, and like Gary and Dave didn't play the same system that they published. I know for a fact Barker didn't play Empire of the Petal Throne. He played his world setting. Gary and Dave played their world settings, but they also added in their own rules and stuff. And I just find it interesting when people get obsessed with the idea of like having things cemented and it becomes canon and you're only allowed to do that thing. And it's like, no, the thing that should be cemented is the mindset of creativity and exploration with these things. And so like if you were to talk to, say, Hargrave and say like, hey, I like your books, but I'm going to change some of the stats on the monsters, he'd be like, great. Like that's what I did, and, so I look at like even Matt Tapp's game, Barrows and Borderlands, it's kind of a OD&D thing, but he just took the idea and went with it and ran with it and made his own thing, and so you can take that and you play it and you're like, well, I don't like what Matt did with this one thing. We'll just change it. It's your, I say it all the time on social media, but I'm like, once you buy the game, it's yours to do with as you please. You pay your money, it's yours. You own it. And that means that when you own it, you can change it. It's like buying a house or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sorry, that's my big speech.
I like to say
speeches.
nothing is canon. That's what I
Yeah, it just is.
When you're a game master, nothing is canon.
I've got something to add to that too, because Gary Gygax wrote in the Alarms and Excursions back in the early 70s, and this section of it was really important for me. But he goes, Dave and I disagree on how to handle any number of things, and both our campaigns differ from the rules found in D&D. If the time ever comes when all aspects of fantasy are covered and the vast majority of its players agree on how the game should be played, D&D will have become stale and boring indeed. So that was Gary back in Alarms and Excursions.
And
I remember reading that.
Yeah. And off everybody's point, when you talked about Griff and, just saying how people were different, Hargrave, he had published Dungeons, but in the bundle, and we've had this before, this is Hargrave's original Howling Tower. Now, there was a published Howling Tower, but this was the one he actually used in his game.
Right,
so
right.
It goes back to where these original primal designers of the industry, they may have presented certain things, but when they played in-house or they played internally, it was different. And it may not have matched anything that they presented out there. And that's another consistent theme, Griff, like you said, with all these people, all these designers.
Yeah.
And that print is in the Kickstarter,
that's one
too,
of the
right?
four
that's
prints.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I did an interview. Historical. You are going to get some original, non-published Dave Hargrave in those prints.
That's great. Yeah.
So we tried to mix, like I said, to the bundle itself. There's a lot of just awesome material, from things never seen before to original what was there, and it's a great quality item too. We went harken back to like how Matt did with the original box sets. You're getting that, that cool feel. I got my box set, with all the books in there, and you just get a plethora of things, and you just got this. Well, I could do the whole little spiel thing like I did on the one thing where you have, all of them
held up together.
I have the Tonnisborg right here.
That's why I photoshopped that picture of all of them sitting next to each other, because I'm like, you can't hold all of that up on the screen.
But it's just a lot of goodness there. They can't overstate it enough, and we just hope people are going to be happy with it, and we're more than happy to support. Oh, there you go, Griff.
Yeah, 1973 on this one.
Yeah.
Back then, it's funny, like we used to do our dungeons. I didn't write it on the margin, but you've got all the monsters over here, for the rooms and stuff. I had a card file that I used, a 3x5 card file. Each room had a card, and they were numbered. Yeah, that's like massive.
Yeah, Matt, I sent you the picture individually too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and you know what? One thing I forgot to mention as far as historical, we have a ton of unpublished Dave Hargrave material. We have about 150 dungeons that never saw the light of day. Probably about, what is it, Dave? 1,000 item cards, different cards in shoe boxes.
Item cards probably about 2,500, maybe 3,000.
Oh wow! Like I forgot.
Dungeons realistically probably about. Well, you could probably crest around between 120 to 150.
And that photo doesn't even have the item cards that are coming in it too for the Rancid Mall dungeon.
Yeah, so we don't even have the card.
Still can't fit everything into one image.
It's missing a couple things.
Poor Gary's getting beaten on here in the chat.
I am. It's
like he plays straight up raw. Like what kind of moron would play raw?
I know, right? I know.
So that's who's getting beat up. I was trying to figure it out.
This game has rules. Holy shit! Yeah. Gary's following the.
And I want to say proudly with Matt, when we connected with him and he introduced Arduin, his dungeons that he's making, Dracula in Space, the Sample Dungeon, the Rancid Maw, everything. He's doing all Arduin style. He took what Dave Hargrave was doing with his dungeons and just took that, and it's bleeding right into the game. And like I said, B&B is like an Arduin 2.0 in a sense, or a brother game. It's unbelievable. Yep.
There's some Dracula.
There's a sample of it in the Radioactive Boogaloo. So, you know, if y'all need a taste of how crazy they can get, it's all in there. I mean, and we've got, I think it's over like 15 levels if you combine all the dungeons together and everything. So actually more than that. It's like 16, 17.
It's just massive. People have just got to look at the one. Once the Kickstarter is, I think you can see it in a preview mode, right?
Yeah.
Something
you
like
just got to go check it out. It's just amazing, like the sort of stuff that's in there.
And we break down everything in the Kickstarter. All those items you see in the collage picture there, every single one's broken down. You can get a better view of everything up close and descriptions. And it is, I'll just say this because these guys know it. I basically broke the Kickstarter volume. Like Kickstarter stopped me from putting any more on the Kickstarter. I reached the limit of Kickstarter information, the characters.
Oh, wow.
Seriously, I had to stop. That's how much is in the guts, what I call the core of the Kickstarter, where you're looking at it. But we felt it was important that you get the full breakdown of everything you're getting, what it is, what it does. So we didn't pull any punches. Everything you need to read about it or want to know is there. So
I just wanted to thank everybody: Stephanie, Judd, Chad, Daryl, Better with Bacon, Tarza, all of you. Thanks for coming and being part of the show in the chat there. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
And anybody I didn't name that's not on the screen right now. Too many names. I need to get rolling.
I saw Gary.
Any other questions from the chat, or I'm kind of like keeping people awake in my house, so I don't want to do that.
Yeah, no worries.
Because I'm at the dining table.
You got to drop grid.
Yeah.
No, I think the only question I have is the Barrows and Borderlands that's going to come with the Kickstarters. Are there any differences? What are you?
Yeah, so it's got the printed Radioactive Boogaloo, and then with the printing of the Kickstarter or the special edition one, there's like new art, new paper that's coming in it, and some new character sheets. And I've got a few other little things. I mean, those have the third printing. I'm not like changing rules on anybody, but I've got fun little things in there. And Dracula in Space has some other little side rules in it. Like I have an entire page on not lightsabers, laser swords, and how to use them in Barrows and Borderlands. So tons of neat little add-on things there. And yeah,
I believe you guys said October 1st.
October 1st. So a week from Wednesday, we're going to do a pre-launch for about a week and a half, and then boom, we're getting right to the Kickstarter.
And I just wanted to say, Stephanie, welcome to the chaotic mess. That's my Discord. But we got a lot of games going on there, so hopefully you'll join one. And basically, the rules for that Discord is if you're interested in running games, you're free to do so. And if you're interested in consistently running games, I can elevate you to Game Master, and then I'll give you your own section, and you can do whatever you want with that section. So, welcome. Any last thoughts, guys? Because we are a little bit past the 2-hour mark, and I know
just spread the word, folks. Like,
let me slip in one shameless.
It's up to the fans to spread the word. What's that?
I'm going to slip in one shameless plug for. We're going to have a book on there that's going to go out of print soon. It has 7 of the Hargrave modules in it. We're going to be putting it out of print because we're going to only reprint 4 of the modules in there down the line into a really nice collector's.
Oh, there's a threat.
So it's just
the market
not going to be available for much longer. That's all I'm saying.
If you don't buy the product, we're going to kill this kid.
Yeah, we're going to have add-ons.
What a way to go out.
I think one thing I wanted to add is, like, you know, y'all come join us too. Matt's got his Discord. I've got a B&B Discord. We can all play some games. We need to do like a collab game at some point. It'd be kind of fun. But yeah, I mean, the Kickstarter is gonna be fun. We made it a crazy huge value, but y'all come join us. We'll play some weird science fantasy and old school style role playing game set in a multi-universal radioactive.
We'll play
wasteland.
what we're calling Portal to Adventure. Is its own. That's what we're calling the combined system. So we'll play a Portal to Adventure, which is play what you want, Matt. If you want to play a dragon who's a rune weaver, go for it. Bring them in.
You guys are all set for Arnicon, so you can do it up there.
Yeah.
Do it up there.
You're the only guys that know how to run Arduin.
Oh.
It looks like you're gonna have to come to Arnicon.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Do a live stream with Matt playing in an Arduin game with you guys at Arnicon.
I used to
kill you
do
all with
actual
giant
plays on the
spiders.
channel, and I might be doing another one, so I'm totally open. I can get something set up.
It's Dracula in space.
Oh, Chad's asking about my favorite.
Yeah,
game.
we'll Dracula in space with it.
Oh, we should do that. I love the name. Dracula in
just
space.
putting this out there in true Arduin style. There may or may not be a vampire Medusa aboard that ship.
May or may not. I cannot divulge.
The good old Vampusa from Arduin. Medusa vampire.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I got Chad over there asking me about the game I play called Empire, which is an old Star Trek game from like 74, I think was the first version.
Sunday nights, right?
You got accepted? We'll have to get on
accepted
Zoom and I'll
to
give
it,
you a
so.
training session on how to play it, and you'll become a crackhead over it like I am. But I only play it like a few
I have
hours
something
every
else
week
to obsess
because
over.
there's no AI, so you can't play unless other people are playing. But it's cyber1.org, CYBER number 1.org, and that's where you have to download the interface to emulate the old Iliac computer system that's running the Plato operating system, and then they send you request to sign on, and they send it to you, and it's all manual. They're really quirky about doing everything manually there. I don't get it. I think it's mostly just to prevent spamming and stuff, and so you just request to sign on, and they'll send you a sign on, but it might take them a week. How long did it take, Matt?
It didn't. It was about a week. They accepted it, and I was like, "Well, I'll hang on because we're in the middle of writing and stuff, and I'll bring it up to Griff. Maybe, like you said, show me how it runs down and stuff."
But if you want
cool.
a game with Griff, you can get. Like, I would love to have a session where I just teach everybody how to play Empire, because we're always looking for players, Or
that
I could give a tour of the whole system too, And
please do, because I tried to look up how it works on YouTube, and there's like one dude from 10 years ago.
Like Matt,
and that's
was it Matt Chat or somebody else?
I think it was him. Yeah, Matt Chat. Yeah, that sounds
right.
He
did a good overview video on it, but it's very nuanced. But that's my real addiction. Every Sunday night, I'm there beating on people, and if I don't know, there's different types of gamers. If I'm playing a game, like even chess, like if I want to learn how to play chess, I'm going to take on best players, and they're just going to kick my ass. And every day I'm going to leave like with teeth missing and stuff and be all messed up. But I'm going to keep at it, and it might take me 10 years, but I'll get good enough to be able to hang with those guys. And like when I was playing chess, I once beat a master in a game of blitz chess. And
very good.
And so I was the same way with Empire. I showed up and I was like a pipsqueak. Everybody thought I was an idiot. And now I'm freaking, I'm king of the hill.
We need to play Barsoom chess.
Barsoom chess. Okay. What's the Barsoom chess? Like you have to carry a woman over your shoulder the whole time you're playing?
No. Y'all got to go see some Edgar Rice Burroughs. Check out how chess works on Barsoom.
I forgot. I read those so long ago.
Dude, it's like almost like the one in Harry Potter. Big board in an arena,
and then you have fighters fighting, fighting.
Move and attack. I'm sure a bunch of people have seen the art of like the Barsoom arena with like the checkerboard pattern on the ground. That's Barsoom.
These
chess.
days, Gore chess is really awkward and people don't talk about it. But that's a little side note to anybody that knows.
I got a super chat, probably the last one of the evening, from Chibi Peach, $10. Thank you very much. I know it's an older game, but will you guys be doing another Alien one shot? I listened to your old one at work. Oh man, that was from a couple years ago. I ran an Alien one shot for Halloween. Maybe I know there's been a lot of talk amongst some of the people that we've been hanging out with, like maybe doing some Vossen. But we might be doing. We're in the works for doing a kind of an event. It's not finalized yet, so I don't want to say too much, but it'll involve The Walking Dead and some.
It's not The Walking Dead.
Well, no, it's the Walking Dead game
The Walking
system.
Dead rules. Yeah.
So that might be coming next month, but hopefully it'll be finalized this weekend. At least that's what I'm going to try to do. It's on my to-do list. So stay tuned. I'm actually shocked that there's people
cool.
interested in the actual plays, because it's literally just us goofing off and laughing and playing games, because it's an actual play, not theater. But that's a conversation for another time.
That's another show, yeah.
So anyway, we're a quarter past the hour. Guys, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We're gonna
thank you guys.
Thank
Thanks
you
for having us.
This was awesome.
Yeah, well, thank you. It was great. Best of luck to you on the Kickstarter. We'll do our best to like help you get that out there. And yeah. So Gary, any last thoughts?
I've got nothing. My brain is full. I have taken in a lot of information, and I'm not as smart as you guys, so I need to go away and
you know what
somewhere
RAW stands
quietly
for,
and
Gary?
process. Say again.
Do you know what RAW stands for?
Rules
as warped.
I play RAR, R-A-R, rules as I remember.
Yeah.
No, this was great,
That's
guys.
good.
Thank you for having us. Great
Yeah,
discussion.
thanks.
We'll be more than happy, to come again and talk as we go in the future. And I think running a game, maybe I'll talk to Matt, have him run something, a Portal to Adventure down the road for the group here.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
an
there
evil DM,
might be,
so
you never,
we'll see.
Matt, I know you like Dracula in space. There might be some follow-up to that. So you never know.
The only thing, the last thing I
knows?
want to say real quick, and it's not like I'm holding a grudge or anything, but a couple weeks ago, somebody, I had a game that it started off real strong and then it just kind of petered off, where I was like, why do you think what do you think happened? And I was going through all the different things. Maybe I could have done this a little better. Maybe this, maybe that would, we'll see. And then I went over to Matt Tapp's Discord, and almost all of my old players, you know why they left the game? Because they're in Matt's game. They are all on his server. Ultra's over there. Fucking, like, I saw about 5 names. And so, Matt, I'm going to have to get over there. I feel like I might have a bit to learn from you. And by the way, your server it's impeccable. Dude. It's organized so well. Anyway,
Yeah, mine's
That's because I've hidden the thousands of other channels from our years of gaming. We've had the same Discord for a very long time. So no, I mean, you should definitely come over and then you should run some games for me and I can get a chance to play.
I think, you know what? I think I may be in a player phase. I've met so many good DMs recently. Well, through the show actually, that I really feel like it would. I feel like I would run games better by playing more with other people. You know what I mean? You go through phases, and I think that's where I'm at right now. So
you need to watch the informal game.
I do watch them.
Those are great.
Yeah.
And I press like.
It's required material for my new refs and our server and stuff. Like,
thanks.
There you go, Griff.
Yeah.
That's a little plug for you.
I wanted to do another like drawing show, and I went to the store and they didn't have.
Yes.
They were like out of all these, and I don't think they're going to stock them again. And I don't know if Stabilo stopped making my favorite like brushy pen, and it's really frustrating. But yeah, that's a fun show. I was just interviewed by somebody, and I realized there's another thing I do, which is like a bad DM thing. And I talked about it, and he just had the sourest look on his face when I told him what I do when I run games. And I basically told him, like, if I roll a wandering monster, if I don't like the type of creature I rolled, because I just don't feel like running that kind of monster. I just roll again. And he was just like out.
Griff, you're not a computer.
And that's the
You're a
thing. It was
referee.
like I was trying to say, like, as long as you hit the monster roll, you got the wandering monster. You're gonna put a wandering monster in, but if you don't feel like acting out the fairy or whatever, I'm just like, okay, it's 8 orcs, And I looked at him in the interview, and I swear he like wanted to kill me for like betraying the system.
It's not raw.
It's not raw. But no, I taught you're not a computer. You're not
that's the role you made.
I'm gonna say, let me real quick.
I don't fudge combat dice, but sometimes, yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting.
No, that's fine. I'm just saying. I think you have to get in a certain mindset to really play rules as written. Like you kind of have to turn this switch on. And I think once you've turned that on, it takes a while to turn it off, right? Like Griff, when we talked to you, that I think that was like our first or second show.
Yeah, we basically. It's good we weren't in the same room.
Yeah. No, but it really. I mean, that's the thing that started kind of cracking it, because honestly, everything that was wrong with my last game, and I've been a hard critic of myself over this last game, but a lot of it was just because of my tightness. I was like, I'm going to do it this way. This is how it's going to be, and I just got into this real rigid kind of thing. And
well, it depends on the game. Like when we were talking about Macros, right? Like I've gone through phases. I started out with D&D, felt too loose. I wanted something else. I tried other things. I played Pathfinder. I played 5e now. And so like if you're playing the game there's certain games that really should be played raw, and you just play it that way. And it's like, I think that there's that monoculture that comes out of the 5e thing where people, all they do is run around saying like, our game is the best game in the world, and if you don't like it, you suck. And it's like, well, it's okay, but there's like a million other games out there, and there are different ways to play. So when I'm DMing my, and like I went through that stage of like really strict follow the rules with games that had really strict rules to follow.
Right.
And so I've kind of come full circle, and when I'm DMing, I'm really more focused on just like intensifying the immersion aspect, but I don't fudge the dice because I love, I feel bad when I kill characters, but I feel like it's
every
necessary.
once in a while somebody needs to die.
Yeah. Why, otherwise it's just meaningless.
Yeah. And I'll just wrap this up by talking about when I was, confessing my game sins. Really, it's Matthew's fault, because he did steal all of my players, and they're all on his servers. So
and now
that's all I have to say. Good night. No.
Sorry.
I gotta go.
I didn't.
So good night, guys.
No, it's cool.
Griff, thank you so much, man.
That's
awesome. And just wanted to
Have a good one.
Chat's been wonderful tonight. Really appreciate it. But that's it for us. So with that, our watch has ended. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Hey, thank you, everyone. Great night.
Have a
Go
good night.
Bills.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Go Bills.
Yeah.
Yeah. There.
Oh my God, this are never going.
Whew.